Hello, good people. Welcome back. After our last recording on for loops, on nested loops. Sorry. I want to cover something new on enumerate function. So, what does this mean? So basically, when we are trying to get both index and value and doing a loop, that's when we use the enumerate function in Python. Basically, when we want to know the corresponding element value and the rating of our sequence. We want to know the current position element. Index. Basically, we want to know the index and value, and corresponding element. Yeah, basically, we want to know the index and the value. This index is basically no, this value is in this index, and you're doing a loop, right? I hope that makes sense. So we're going to see an example whereby we have the enumerate function. What does it do? Basically, as we've said here, let us know the current position index and iterating over a sequence. Yeah, no further there. So basically, let's see an example. So we're going to have a list of values. Number is equals to, let's say, 2, 4, 2, 3, 9, 8. Sorry, 2, 3, 9, 5. So then we're going to say for index. For index in range, we're trying to go through a range of length of numbers. So length of our value or our value length of numbers. Let's forget in Python to show the length number. Yeah. So what happens here? We're going to show value is equals to number, yeah, of the index, like the number, what's the, yeah, so values are what we have in that index, right? So we can now print and say formatting a string, then we have the speech marks, then we say element, we'll pass the element as the index, yeah, then we have the value being the number, our variable name, the index of that value. So let's run this and see what we have. We're going to use this. I did not bring the list we had. That's why we have an error. That's the number. Yeah. So when we run this, we're going to get this is in index 0, 1, and 2. So we're going to have 0, 2, 1, 3, 2, 9. Let's try and run that. This is from the example I had initially, but let's have a different example. We'll have 0, 2, 1, 3, and 2, 9. Basically, let's have some space here. Yeah, basically 0, 2, 1, 3, 2, 9. Right here, we've just done a normal for loop, and we have been able to access the index and the value, right? So basically, I was just trying to show you an example of how we access normally we access it this way, right? So in a for loop, arranged over a container. This is our container in this scenario, right? We have been able to access, we've been able to obtain the value directly, but we've had, okay, in a for loop, when we want to, okay, in this scenario we have used arrange, right? Let's say we want to iterate. For this case, we've used arrange, right? And we've been able to iterate over a sequence, and we've been able to see the key. We've been able to see the index and the value, right? So let's iterate a container using a for loop. But in this scenario, we are not using range, right? So how would we go about this? So let's say we have a variable name, origins. What this stores 4, 8, 10, right? Now what happens is we will say for value in origins, right? Yeah, for value in origins, what do we do? So basically we want to see what we have. We want to get the index, we want to get the value, right? We're going to say origins dot index, and we're going to use a function called here to get excuse me, we're going to use a function called here to access the index value in a list. So we have our list of origins, so we're going to use the a function call to be able to access them. I will be able to see this in our file right now. So as we said this, then we have to say elements. We pass the index, yeah, then full column, then we have the value. Yeah. So basically this will have the output just same as what we had, but in this scenario we've been able to use function call. Function call to access the index. Let's use this in our enumerate too. So if we run this to enumerate. Okay, I had to tell. We have 0 being 4, 1 being 8, 2 being 10. Here we have used the index function called to be able to we've used the list dot index function. So basically the function to find the I hope we've been able to see that. So in our readme right here, so I'm going to say we have here list dot index function access to find index. So right here, when you say list dot index, our list is origin, so we say origin dot index, right? So in our example, it becomes origin dot index. How that makes sense? Then you pass the value. I hope it makes some sense. I'll use the header. I hope we've been able to understand. I hope that makes sense and we've seen what we mean by that. So had we been having a different name, we had call this Ori. So here we use Ori, right? So Ori dot index. Does that make sense? So yeah, here has always used Ori. Just is the name of the list dot index, as we just said, right? Now, so where does the enumerate function comes in, right? The enumerate function receives both index and the corresponding value at the same time. Yeah, as we've seen here, we've been able to try to get the index and value. So enumerate function, this gets, let's use the word retrieve both index and corresponding element at the same time. Yeah, and we'll be able to see that in a short while. Let's do an example. Yeah, so basically let's use our same origin. I'll get back to origins. I was using this as an example. Let's do an example using our origin as this is equals to, I'll use different values, so we can use the same. Let's use this. So we have 4, 8, and 10. So we're going to say 4. Yeah. We want to get passing the parameters of index and value. So this is how the syntax. Works. Index and value in enumerate. What are we enumerating? We pass the name of the list here, origins, right? We'll call what happens. We just print. I hope we've seen how this becomes simpler, easier, cleaner. So what do we the same thing, element, pass index and value. Sorry, index and value. Now let's have this in our, okay, I hope you've seen the syntax and how enumerate comes in. Let us have this in our enumerate 3. Enumerate 3.pure. Yeah. Enumerate is right here. So we've said we are able to access it simply. Just with those few lines of code, we're going to have it so simply 0, 1, 2 being 0, 1, and 2, 4, 8, and 10. Easily, fast, and without much hassle. So we've seen how the enumerate function plays a role in accessing the value, the index and the value when doing loops or when doing iterations, right? So what does the enumerate function do? So basically, how does it work? How does it work behind the scenes? So in each iteration, it yields new to, right? Basically, in one loop, right? It creates a new tuple containing what? The tuple. So basically, it's the tuple contains current index. Excuse me. Current index and the elements. Current index and the value, basically. Current index and the value. Oh, that's clear. And we've understood how that works. So basically, what we've been able to see, right? When we do an enumerate of the origins, right? So it will yield a tuple of each iteration of this, right? So it will have the index value of each of it. Basically, it's unpacking, right? It's called unpacking. So what's unpacking? Unpacking in the enumerate. Unpacking is the process that performs multiple assignments at once, right? So we have something called unpacking in enumerate. So basically, it performs multiple assignments at a go, at once. Basically, binding comma separated names on the left to the element on the right. So basically, it will have the index. It will have the index 0, 4, 1, 8, 2, 10. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. Basically, okay, I'll just give it a new word of how unpacking is done in enumeration. I will do an example enumerate 3. Let's do enumerate 4, right? Enumerate 4.py. Basically, I hope we have understood why we're trying to use enumerate. Sorry, let's do. I'll just enumerate. Yeah, we have a list. Accept. Let me put my list. My list is equals to. Then let's pass the values. So I'll have let me use name of cars Mazda, Mercedes, BMW. Let's have a few of them being in my list, right? So let's do animation of it. Let's get the index and the value. So as we did initially, we're going to pass the index and the value as the parameters. So our index value right here. In this is where enumerate comes in. Enumerate. What are we enumerating? We're enumerating my list. Let me call it cars. Because my list is a bit dry. Enumerating cars. Yeah, enumerating cars. Then we have a full colon right here. So ensure you have the correct syntax. Full colon right here. Full colon is here. Full colon. This one. I can't find a full colon right now. I pressed that a couple of times anyway. So the correct syntax, right? 4, we pass the index and value, what we're trying to output in enumerate cars. Then we now do the print of just a simple print of index value. I hope you know how the current how we used to, let's enumerate 4. Enumerate 4. Yeah. So basically it's 0, 1, and 2. 0, 1, and 2. I hope you know how the formatting of strings came into play. Let's format a string basically. So you have an F statement. Basically formatting string. Then you have the opening and closing speech mark. Then you pass the element. We have a space. Element is at index. Then we just have a full colon. Yes. Then we have the value. Yeah. I hope that makes sense. So if we do reprint this, basically we have element 0, Mazda, element 1. I hope that makes sense, and we've seen how enumerate plays role here. In just within a few lines, we've been able to output what we were able to use initially. We were using the index function and the likes, but right now we're just able to use enumerate, and we're able to get the same output. Let's do another example around my last example. Let's use enumerate 5. Yeah, so basically what we're trying to do here is enumerate seasons. So we'll have my list of seasons here. Yeah, seasons is equals to square bracket. We'll have winter outer summer. Winter we have our positions right here. Now for let's use what do we want to we'll use either we use index. We want to we can use index or we can use any other. So now enumerate 4. So let's see if we can use for index seasons enumerate enumerating seasons. I'll use season right here so that it doesn't enumerate seasons. What do we do? The full color. And then we have print. Season. Let's see what we have in enumerate 5. We don't go through, we'll change. So we have 0 winter, 2, 3, and 0 winter, 1, 2, and 3. Those are the 4 seasons we've used. Now output right here. Hope that's clear up to there. In case you have any question, let me know. It's been good knowing the functions of enumerate, and we've been able to tackle a few examples. I haven't covered all the examples. We can do a recording of examples, but I'm not sure if we'll be able to cover that. But if there's anyone who wants us to cover the examples, you can let me know in the comment section, and I will be able to go through that. I hope you've got something on the enumerate, and let's meet in our next class. I hope you covered the other classes, because we're almost getting done with loops, and we'll be able to start another topic. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one, guys.